Following the massive success of Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's third installment attempted to expand the franchise's scope with multiple villains and darker themes, resulting in a more complex and divisive entry in the trilogy.
A few months after we got the initial story, the idea came about, let's introduce the symbiote, let's introduce the black suit, and of course that means only one thing, let's introduce Venom.
Welcome back to the watchlist. So today I'm reviewing Spider-Man 3. It's a bit of a tricky one this, as it represents an ambitious attempt to explore the darker side of Peter Parker's character, while juggling multiple antagonists and storylines. The film was the highest budgeted movie of its time, showcasing some incredible special effects and action sequences. Leave a comment down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this movie. And while you're at it, if you could drop a like on the video, that would be very much appreciated. The film weaves together several major plot lines: Peter's struggle with the symbiote suit and his own ego, his complicated relationship with Mary Jane, Harry Osborn's vengeful pursuit as New Goblin, Flint Marko's transformation into Sandman, and Eddie Brock's eventual becoming of Venom. As you can see, it's a lot to get through, even in a 2-hour and 20-minute runtime. Act 1 establishes Peter's growing fame as Spider-Man and introduces both Flint Marko and the mysterious black substance that would become the Venom symbiote. Okay, let me just talk about the whole Venom symbiote. As we know, it crash lands on Earth, which in my opinion is a terrible introduction to this creature, because we've just been introduced to J. Jonah Jameson's son, John Jameson, in the previous film. He's known for going to space and bringing the symbiote down with him, similar to what they did in the Spectacular Spider-Man series. But they didn't do this. Instead, it lands on Earth inexplicably, and we don't know where it came from in this universe or why. Act 2 focuses on Peter's transformation under the symbiote's influence, his deteriorating relationships, and the emergence of multiple adversaries. Act 3 culminates in an extensive battle involving all major characters, leading to Peter's ultimate redemption. Christopher Young took over scoring duties from Danny Elfman, while maintaining the iconic themes established in previous films. The score introduces darker elements to reflect the film's themes, particularly during the sequences involving the symbiote. Spider-Man 3 has some groundbreaking visual effects. For instance, the creation of Sandman is particularly impressive. The team had to develop an entirely new practical simulation technology to accurately represent how billions of sand particles would move and interact. The attention to detail there is remarkable. The aerial combat sequences between Spider-Man and New Goblin utilized improved CGI technology, especially in terms of physics and momentum. The fight choreography feels weighty and impactful, particularly during the brutal alley chase scene where Harry gets clotheslined. The symbiote effects add an entirely new dimension to Spider-Man's movements and abilities, with the black suit seeming to have a life of its own. The way it ripples and flows across Peter's body, morphing his costume and enhancing his abilities. The effects team paid special attention to making the suit appear both organic and threatening. Tobey Maguire tackles his most challenging performance as Peter Parker, portraying both the character's traditional heroic nature and his darker tendencies under the symbiote's influence. Thomas Hayden Church brings some tragic depth to Flint Marko, creating a sympathetic antagonist whose motivations stem from personal distress rather than generic hatred. Topher Grace's Eddie Brock serves as an intrusive rival to Peter Parker. While we're talking about Eddie Brock, I feel like his presence in this film wasn't necessary. They already had a perfect host for the symbiote in Harry Osborn. The symbiote would then have perfect intentions to hate Peter and Spider-Man, just as much as Harry would. It just makes sense. Although James Franco's Harry Osborn completes his character arc from friend to enemy to eventual ally. Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane faces career setbacks and relationship challenges, adding emotional weight to the story. Let's get into the trivia. The Sandman's transformation sequence took months to perfect and required new CGI technology to achieve the desired effect. Also, the production team used real sand particles scanned into the computer to create realistic sand effects for Sandman. The film's budget exceeded $250 million, making it the most expensive film ever produced at the time. Over 900 visual effects shots were created for the film. Bruce Campbell, who appeared in all 3 Spider-Man films, plays a different character each time, with his role as a French maitre d' in Spider-Man 3 being his longest appearance in the trilogy. There were storyboards for the 4th movie in this franchise where he would make a return as Quentin Beck, otherwise known as Mysterio. It had also been teased in Spider-Man 2.
It helps maintain the illusion.
The infamous emo Peter Parker dance sequence was choreographed by a professional choreographer and took Tobey Maguire several weeks to perfect. In conclusion, Spider-Man 3 is a mixed bag. While it doesn't quite match the perfect balance of Spider-Man 2's character development and action sequences, it's still a visually impressive film that pushed superhero movies forward. The special effects are incredible, particularly with Sandman's fluid transformations and the symbiote sequences that really showed what was possible in superhero films. The film's biggest problem is trying to do too much at once. Harry's redemption story, Sandman's tragic tale, and Eddie Brock becoming Venom, they're all interesting on their own, but together they fight for screen time. Still, underneath all of this, the movie explores some pretty heavy themes about power, revenge, and forgiveness. Looking back now, Spider-Man 3 was ahead of its time in many ways. It helped pave the way for more complex superhero films, showing that these movies could tackle darker themes and morally grey characters. While not everything works, you have to admire how it tried to be more than just another good guy versus bad guy story.